heard you mention a little bit on what voluntary administration is, but I'm hoping you can talk us through a little bit more on that because I think when I first heard from you that your company was going into that and it meant that you kind of got stepped down and no longer had a role or a job, it was the first time I probably heard of that just because generally what
Mm,
you hear is things like restructures,
mm,
redundancies,
mm,
people not meeting probationary periods,
mm.
I don't know, people getting fired because perhaps they're not good enough, etc. But I feel like this was the first of its kind. So can you talk us, obviously without telling any details of the company that you can't speak on,
Mm.
what it really means and entitles and what's involved in this?
Yeah, so it was the first time I had been through it, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to post an Instagram video when it happened, because similar to what you said, I've only heard or known people who have been through a redundancy because either there's funding cuts and then they say your job's no longer required, you're being made redundant, and then you get a package paid out.
Hmm.
I haven't known too much of an organization going into voluntary administration so that, they're basically saying, we are going broke here, save
Mm,
us, because that's in a nutshell what it is. So, my understanding of how it works, having been through this process, is the executive team of the organization will identify that they're losing money.
hmm.
And for other reasons that I can't say, there's a reason why we found out. DR, oh, I'm gonna censor
Yeah.
that. Why the organization was losing money,
Hmm.
and then from there, once you've identified it, you reach out to a restructure administrator company, and their job is to come in, look at how everything's operating at the moment, and identify where future funds can be found.
Hmm.
So in this instance, they've been talking to some of our corporate partners and put advertisements out in, different business papers and stuff to see if there's any interest for people to um, invest in the organization, and determine from that point, it determines, well, how much funding is received and what that will mean for everybody's roles. So if they get the same or greater funding, well, then that would in theory mean everybody can go back to the job if they chose to.
Hmm.
Or if there's funding, but it's not as much as the organization was operating on, what does a restructure look like to make sure the
Hmm.
organization's moving forward and not going to be regressing again? So, in this process for the staff, all of our contracts were set to finish on the 30th of June anyway. So, we've had two options outlined by the administrators. You can either hold your position and wait out the process, but if it gets past the 30th of June, you do not get guaranteed your entitlements, so therefore you're at risk
Mm,
of losing it, or you vacate your position, opt to terminate, and then your entitlements are locked up.
got
So
you.
I recently decided to go down that option because I figured I've done a lot for this organization in my time here, and this is how I'm being rewarded. I don't trust that the organization has my best interest or any staff's interest at heart, to be completely honest, with how we've been treated.
Mm,
And I've decided to terminate my employment and get eventually paid out with that end date figure.
hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's my understanding of the process. There are a lot more intricate details in there that I don't know about, I'm sure. And
Hmm.
obviously, for the sake of anonymity, however you say that,
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. I think if anyone as well is more interested, there's so many resources online and we can link some below as well on exactly what the outline is of that because I think to so many people it is quite new.